How about this for an opening play? Gary Rutledge drops back and hits Wayne Wheeler wide open at the ball 45. He's gone on an 80-yard touchdown. Bill Davis adds the extra point, and Bama's up 7-0 with just 14 seconds gone on the clock. After the kickoff, the ball's from their 27. Haskell Standback gets 5 off right guard. Quarterback Condredge Holloway runs the attack for Tennessee. He hands to Bill Rudder right up the middle. John Kroll, Woodrow Lowe, and Mike Raines hold him to just a yard. Third down, Holloway wants to pass, but the Bama rush is too much. Greg Montgomery sacks him for a loss of 4. That brings up the first punt of the game. Neil Clabo gets it away for the Vols. Willie Shelby gathers it in at the 26 for Alabama. Shelby comes to the near side. The Vols knock the ball loose, and they think they have it, but the official rules Shelby down at the 36. Gary Rutledge starts at quarterback, runs the wishbone to the far side, but the Vols drop Ellis Beck for only 2. Next, Randy Billingsley on the toss to the near side for 2 more. Possession down for the Tide. Rutledge takes the option left. The Vols nearly take his head off, but he tosses to Billingsley, and watch the good block by Beck. Randy is loose for 16 yards, and a Bama first down at the Volunteer 44. For the third straight time, it's Billingsley who fumbles but recovers for a gain of 3. Again, the option goes left. This time, Rutledge keeps for 2 yards. On third down, Wilbur Jackson gets the toss coming this way, gets a good block from Paul Spivey. Wilbur slips on the artificial turf, but he still gets 8 yards and another first down. Next, it's Jackson staying inside for a gain of 3. The wishbone goes left. Rutledge crosses the line, then pitches to Billingsley, and Randy gets 5 more down to the 23. Third and 2, Rutledge runs the option left, keeps it himself for 4 and a first down. Now back to Jackson. He follows Spivey and Billingsley for 7 yards. Once more at the end of this one, looks like a fumble, but the ball's dead at the Volunteer 12. Bama's in full view of the goal line now. Spivey moves the Tide 5 yards closer. 72,000 roaring for a score. Jackson gets it. Wilbur goes off right tackle, 7 yards for the touchdown. Let's watch it again. Wilbur slashing in to climax a 64-yard drive, eating up nearly 6 minutes on the clock. Again, Bill Davis kicks the extra point, and Bama's out front 14-0. The Tide's Greg Gant moves toward the ball, kicks it to the Vols' Jerry Brown at the 3-yard line. He comes racing upfield, gets by 3 Bama tacklers, but then Dick Turpin finally trips him up. The Vols are in business at their own 33. On first down, the Vols offense continues to have problems. Stand back to the near side. Mike Dubose and Wayne Rhodes drop him for a loss of 5. Holloway knows he needs yards, so he gets his first pass off, and it's a goodie to his tight end, Tommy West. The play's good for 42 yards. Ricky Davis pulls him down at the Bama 30. Back to the run for one play. Raines, Lowe, and Montgomery stop Rudder for a yard. Coach Johnny Majors decides to take advantage of the Bama rush now. Holloway dumps the screen pass to John Yarborough. He picks up 5 more. Dubose and Rhodes on the tackle. Holloway wants to throw again, but he feels the Bama pressure, scrambles for 4 and a first down before Kroll knocks him down at the 20. Stand back, can't find any room on the left side. Croyle and Skip Kavelius bang him down, no gain. Holloway to the air again, good protection. Pump fake, and then he hits Yarborough at the 10. With a nice spin move, he goes in for a touchdown. Vols goes 67 yards in 7 plays and right at 4 minutes. Ricky Townsend's in to kick the extra point. It's Bama 14, UT 7 with 3:07 to go in the first quarter. Vols kickoff. Townsend booting it to Shelby at the 3. Willie comes to the near side, but the Vol coverage comes slicing through to drop him at the 25. Rutledge brings the option this way. The Vols hold him to just a yard. Not much on the other side either. David Page dumps Shelby for a yard loss. On 3rd down, Rutledge going left. Toss to Shelby, but nothing's there. Bringing up 4th down and the first Bama punt of the afternoon. That comes from the foot of Gant. He booms at 46 yards to the Vols' Brown, who manages only a yard on the return. From the 30, Holloway gives it to Standback. Dubose and Wayne Hall make the stop, but Haskell has 3. Holloway looks over the Tide defense, then runs the option to the far side. The toss to Standback. He races 19 yards to a first down. David McMakin and Chuck Strickland finally bring him down at the Bama 48. Last play of the first quarter, Holloway throws it to Rutter. He gets 4. Dubose, Wayne Hall, and Mike Washington on the tackle. After 1 quarter, it's Bama 14, Tennessee 7. Tennessee with the ball to start the second quarter. Holloway moving near side, tosses to Standback. Washington hits him. It's a fumble, and Raines pounces on the loose ball for Bama. Bryant goes with Richard Todd now at quarterback. He goes with the option to Calvin Culliver. He has 9 to the 49. The Vols rise up, though Wilson catches Todd for a loss of 1. So it's 3rd down and 2, and Mike Stock takes care of that, getting 3 to the Tennessee 49. Now Todd's ready for his first pass. Richard drops back, looks downfield to his tight end, George Pugh. Look at this terrific one-hand catch. Pugh gets 33 and a Bama first down at the Vol 16. Back to the ground game. Jackson muscles his way for a couple. Todd takes the option right again. He gets 3 more down to the UT 11. Next up, Todd fakes the handoff, drops back, and finds Shelby open at the 2 for Bama's 3rd touchdown. Tide moves 60 yards in 7 plays. On the replay, watch the Todd fake and watch Shelby have to fight his way through Vol defenders headed toward the goal line. Bill Davis kicks it through, and Bama's out front, 21-7. Now, a good kickoff return can get you right back into the game, and it's certainly true here as Gant kicks it to Stanley Morgan in the end zone. The speedy Morgan comes upfield, veers to the far sideline. He's to the 35, the 40, the 45. Looks like he might go all the way, but finally Spivey pushes a blocker in the Morgan. That bumps him out of bounds at the Bama 39, a 61-yard return. Holloway wants to take advantage of good field position, so he's back and fires it to Tim Fitzpatrick. He gets 14. Strickland and King knock him out of bounds at the Bama 25. Now it's Standback at left tackle. Strickland, Kroll, and Rhodes stop him after a gain of only 1. Again, Holloway goes to the air, this time to Standback for 10 and another first down at the Tide 14. But it's time for the Bama defense to stand up. Raines and Montgomery stop Holloway for no gain. Ball quarterback tries to pass. Bama defense is on him. He scrambles. Croyle sacks him for a loss of 1. On 3rd down, Holloway's back again, but Raines is there to force the pass, and Strickland's there to break it up at the 5. From the shotgun, Tennessee going on 4th down. Lowe chases Holloway to the near side. He jumps at the line of scrimmage and overthrows Rutter at the back of the end zone. Bama takes over at the 15. And Todd runs the wishbone perfectly, getting 6 around right in. Now Stock up the middle, 4 yards and a first down at the 25. Todd wants to throw again, but the balls are rushing. Here comes David Foley to sack Richard, a loss of 7. From the 18, Culliver goes right up the middle for 7 yards. It's 3rd and 11. Todd drops back. He's looking long. The receiver is Johnny Sharpless. But Eddie Brown is on the spot for the ball. He intercepts at the 48. Sharpless grabs Brown, but he breaks free. And he has blockers in front of him. From behind, Shelby chases him down at the Tide 39. We're back to the Volunteer scramble. Holloway dashing around to get 8 yards. David Watkins joins Washington and Rhodes on the tackle. After a 5-yard penalty, Holloway goes to the air. He hits Mitchell Gravitt, but he drops it. Again, it's Condredge passing. This time he connects with Yarbrough for 8 yards and a first down at the Tide 27. Paul Carruthers is in at tailback, and he picks up 2. Dubose and Strickland knock him down. Holloway scrambles to pass again. He hits Fitzpatrick. The play works for 14 and a first down at the Bama 11. Carruthers takes it right up the middle for 5. Dubose and Ricky Davis stop him at the 6. Now Holloway scrambling again at left end. He gets around the end and goes 6 yards for the touchdown. It's a 38-yard drive in 7 plays, set up by the interception. Townsend's in to kick the extra point, and the balls are closer.
Those are the gals and guys from Knoxville, the Tennessee cheerleaders. Tennessee has just scored to make the 21-14 Alabama with 3:41 to go. First half, Tennessee, Townsend kicking to Alabama.
He's getting fired up.
Did he slap that baby?
The old adrenaline is high on both sides and right here in the booth.
Chris, I don't know if our viewers and listeners know that Coach Paul Bear Bryant a week ago gave $100,000 to a scholarship fund at the University of Alabama.
You're kidding.
He did that, truthfully. It's to go to needy students and preferably to the sons and daughters of former players that he coached.
Well, I've always felt I was in a booth with very wealthy coaches.
You may be having that just backwards. There's one in the field, though.
All right, Rutledge is back in at quarterback for Alabama, number 11 from the 20, first down. Beck, the fullback, veers off, hit very hard after a 2-yard gain by Eddie Wilson, who's had a great game.
And I think, Chris, they've got their first-team backfield in the game again. It's that constant putting different men in that keeps them totally fresh for Alabama all of the game.
They gained 3 on the play, Duffy.
Bud, do you think that will ensure Bear's job for another year or two?
Well, he's got the people a little bit dependent upon him, and that's a very difficult position for a coach to establish.
On a 2nd and 7 from the 23, it's Beck again carrying across the 25 as Alabama leads 21-14, 3 minutes to go, first half. America's fastest growing football bowl game, that's the Fiesta Bowl, the Western Athletic Conference bowl game played annually in Phoenix, Arizona. Now in its 3rd season, the bowl has evolved into the WAC area's richest event with a sellout crowd of 51,000 who have viewed the highest scoring bowl games in history. Part of the Fiesta Bowl commitment is to help fight the nation's drug abuse problem. The bowl has currently contributed $30,000 to the NCAA to aid drug education. As Wilbur Jackson moves the ball to the 30, and it's beyond, is it? Yes, first down.
He made a great effort, Chris. He was really pretty well bottled up, but he just wouldn't give up that first down.
And, Bud, we mentioned the Fiesta Bowl where they donate the money to the NCAA for drug abuse education. I can't think of a better cause, and I think some of the other bowls should do the same thing.
I think that young people around the country are getting the proper information. The drug scene is a blind alley, and if they know how blind it is early in the game, they're not going to experiment with it and get caught.
So we can only congratulate Bill Shover and his associates in Phoenix and the Fiesta Bowl for the job they're doing. Wayne Wheeler to the near side on a 1st and 10. Rutledge looking. Throwing long. It is Wheeler, and Tennessee blew it. Had a chance to intercept their second pass.
That's like two outfielders going for the ball. They had it locked in all the way and couldn't decide which man ought to take it.
Intended for Wheeler. It was Murdick covering.
That's a pass that shouldn't have been thrown, Chris. That shouldn't have been thrown, at least to that receiver. He was covered all the way.
Let's watch it again. This is Wheeler coming down the field. It's Murdick and Brown covering him. The ball is high, and you could see that Brown had it timed perfectly. He was moving into the ball. Murdick was moving with the ball, and he wasn't able to quite hold it.
Year after year, Tennessee is among the leaders as far as pass defense and pass interceptions.
They read it very, very well and move to the ball when it's in the air quickly.
Now it's 2nd down and 10 for Alabama. They lead 21-14. Near the end of the first half, Jackson carrying number 80. Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox, as a result of a special news conference, at halftime we will switch our facilities to Washington, D.C. for a complete report. That's at halftime.
That's 1 minute and 27 seconds from now.
Right. There you see 3rd down conversions. Alabama 3 of 5, Tennessee 6 of 8. Now it's 3rd down and 7 for the Tide. Billingsley. They didn't make it. Nice tackle by Eddie Wilson, and he is from Marietta, Georgia, number 54, and what a day he's having.
Let's watch Eddie Wilson. Here he is, number 54. The option play, very well executed, strung out. When the pitch is made, Wilson turns, and he's got speed enough to be right there with Billingsley to make the tackle.
Greg Gant, Alabama's second punt, as they lead 21-14, 45 seconds left, and Gant socks one back to the 6, taken by Eddie Brown. Look at that specialty team. A 59-yard punt.
Where is Alabama's weakness, Chris? Great offense, great defense, superior kicking.
Speaking of strong points, take a look at your screen now, sports fans.
Chuck and Andy really just rating the cheerleaders, but maybe we ought to have them include the drum majorettes.
Well, they don't include them, but I'll tell you one thing. I'd rate Tennessee and Alabama twirlers 1, 2 in the nation. They are strong.
I've got to say something for your Purdue twirlers also, though, Chris.
Well, the Golden Girl and the Silver Twins are pretty strong. 27 seconds left in the first half. Holloway on a keeper as they trail by a touchdown and an extra point.
Tennessee's just going to run out the clock. They're not going to gamble putting the ball in the air down on their own 5 or 6 yard line.
You know, Alabama has produced some great Miss America contestants right there. Looks like Ann Fowler, a former Miss America contestant. You know, this has really got it. Well, we hope you enjoyed the first half. We did. You'll see them a little bit later on, I hope. Plus a special report from ABC News from the nation's capital. And a reminder that here at halftime, it is Alabama 21, Tennessee 14. As you're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
The $6 Million Man premieres as a new monthly series tonight.
Coming up today on ABC's Wide World of Sports, 5 o'clock Eastern and Pacific times, 4 o'clock Central time, the curious and continuing saga of Muhammad Ali. Ali in his 12-round unanimous decision victory over Rudy Lubers of the Netherlands in Jakarta, Indonesia today. Ali in his last fight before January 28th of next year, the return go against Joe Frazier. And also the controversial National 500 stock car race from Charlotte, North Carolina. All this coming to you today on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
The University of Tennessee was founded at Knoxville as a frontier college in 1794, 2 years before Tennessee became the nation's 16th state. It is the nation's 28th oldest institution of higher learning, and it was designated Tennessee's federal land-grant institution and state university shortly after the Civil War. In this dual role, the University of Tennessee has expanded from its Knoxville base to establish campuses in 5 localities throughout the state, and today is represented by major institutions in Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, and Martin. This statewide system today has a grand total of 41,000 students, making it the 16th largest university in the United States. The institution is a major research center working on health problems such as cancer and in agriculture and the basic sciences. The University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And here we have their musical representatives coming out here. Dr. Julian is the director, and take a look at the twirlers that head that crescent-like shaped flag corps, followed by the band itself. There you get a look at the twirlers marching out proudly as their team has fought gallantly in the first half. They trail by only 21-14 with another half to go. We're not sure if technically we'll be able to switch to Washington for a special report on Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox's news conference, which was held today. But in the meantime, I know you won't object to listening to the music, watching the precision marching of the University of Tennessee band. This is the pride of the Southland Band. "225 students from Knoxville." Is Kathy McCarroll from Knoxville, Tennessee. Upon a star from concentric circles, fantastic formations by the Tennessee band. Dr. W.J. Julian, the director, has been at the University of Tennessee for 11 years. He and his staff have done a fantastic job to make this band nationally famous. It is a wonderful day in Birmingham, Alabama. 21-14 at halftime, Alabama leading. the Southland Band, performing at halftime at Legion Field in Birmingham, where the Crimson Tide of Alabama lead the Volunteers of Tennessee 21-14. Still trying technically to go to Washington, D.C. for a special report on a special press conference as held by Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox. Meanwhile, this. There they go now into the concert formation. And the summer of 42, the main theme. A band to be proud of. The pride of the South, the University of Tennessee Band with the summer of 42, and here in 73 will be exiting on the Tennessee Waltz March. We'll be back with more halftime entertainment as Alabama leads Tennessee 21-14.
When you're talking about racing, records, and performance, you've just got to be talking about Monroe's done it all. 20 out of 21 winners at Indy, 18 consecutive USAC championships, the Baja 1000, and winners in all classes using shocks in major National Hot Rod Association events. So put a winner on your car.
The world's energy. Alcoa thinks one of the best ways to conserve it is to recycle it. Every time you recycle an all-aluminum can, you save 95% of the energy it took to make it the first time. That's right. It takes only 5% as much energy to make a new one from an old one. It's one way to help save the world's energy. Aluminum. Pass it on.
1973-74 is the 92nd championship year for the NCAA. And probably no title is more coveted than an NCAA crown. Almost 6,000 competitors from over 230 institutions have earned the right to be called NCAA champion in the history of the NCAA championship competition. Jack Nicklaus, Mark Spitz, Arthur Ashe, Jim Ryan, Dan Gable, all NCAA champions. And this year will be the best ever. Over 8,000 competitors trying for an individual title or helping their school win a team championship. And now on the artificial turf, a fantastic musical organization following another, the $1 Million Band, and to do the commentary, Bud Wilkinson and Duffy Doherty. Gentlemen.
A little bit different than being in the locker room at halftime.
But I'm getting to enjoy these bands.
How about the girls?
I like them too. They're different.
Might have heard in the background, the $1 Million Band is going to play great music from the Academy Award winners, beginning with Conquest from the Captain of Castile. band moving into a horizontal arch formation centered for the majorette dance while the band plays Man with a Golden Arm. Not too bad, Duff.
This afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, the special Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox held a news conference in Washington, D.C. For a report, we switch live to ABC News and David Shoemaker.
Good afternoon. It is a crisp football kind of a day in Washington, too, but the official part of the city has hardly noticed. Watergate Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox and President Nixon are locked in a struggle that could conceivably end with either man or both forced out of office. The president has decided not to release the Watergate tapes as ordered by 2 courts, but supply a summary instead. He has ordered Prosecutor Cox to make no further attempt in court to obtain the tapes. In a news conference that has just been concluded, Cox compared his position today with what happened 5 months ago when he and Attorney General Richardson went before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Court of Appeals and the District Court to call
what do they want me to do next?
Attention of one or the other, and I'm not sure yet which is correct, the fact that the papers, documents, and other things subpoenaed are being refused, and that the order to deliver the tapes, subject to some particular reservations, is certainly not being satisfied. Also, I would also add that a summary is being offered and would express the opinion that that was not adequate. Now, technically, the first thing we have to be sure of is the mandate issues. The second thing we have to decide is which of the 2 courts has jurisdiction. I think the District Court clearly has jurisdiction. I think that the Court of Appeals may also have jurisdiction, in which case I would have to make a choice whether to go to the 7-man tribunal or to Judge Sirica. One form of procedure would be to seek an order to show cause why the respondent should not be adjudicated guilty of contempt. I think it may also be possible, and perhaps might be preferable, to seek a further order clarifying any possible doubt resulting from the President's statement last night. We will have to make that kind of choice.
Finally, Cox said even if the president should fire him, the court case seeking the tapes will continue anyway, pressed either by Chief Judge Sirica or the grand jury. This is David Shoemaker in Washington, and now back to Chris Schenkel at the Alabama-Tennessee game in Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you, David Shoemaker in Washington, D.C. as we return to Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. At halftime, Alabama leads Tennessee 21-14. The Alabama band concluding its halftime performance with being fronted by some strikingly good-looking young ladies, all students, to Exodus, of course, Patton. Tonight You'll Never Walk Alone. These will be the tunes that you'll be hearing as they move up and down the artificial turf here on a beautiful afternoon for one of the classic rivalries in sports, Alabama, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so glad we don't have to rank bands, all the great ones we hear and see across the country, but two great ones here today. And we'll be back with that second half very, very soon.
Ryder rents trucks, all kinds of trucks. GMC tractors, trailers, refrigerated trucks, walk-ins, stakes, small Chevy vans. So if you need trucks for a day, a month, a year, or for 2 seconds, remember, Ryder rents trucks.
Number 37, Bill May.
Almost anywhere you travel on business, you'll find a Holiday Inn close by. And in every major city, you have a choice of 2 or more. Chances are we can get you closer to your business. And that's important when people are depending on you.
For today's game is Charlie O'Neill.
We can get you closer to your business. Holiday Inn, the most accommodating people in the world.
If you've left your lights on for hours on end, there's a battery that's music to your ears. The Sears Die-Hard, with extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
You know, it's rare for the past, the present, and the future to be such dominant characteristics of an institution as they are at the University of Alabama. The capstone of Alabama's higher education is built on almost a century and a half of tradition. Statesmen, businessmen, and national leaders hold a unique affection for the state's senior institution, an affection built on generations of dedication to a school and an ideal. The vast oak-shaped campus houses many memories, many accomplishments. On such a foundation of the Old South, the University of Alabama is helping build a new South not based on a national norm, but a new South which seeks to retain a quality of life while expanding the horizons for tomorrow's growth. The University of Alabama is people, teachers, students, workmen, and administrators, all caring, all involved in making today and tomorrow better times in which to live. And there he is, the Tennessee mascot, the blue tick coonhound, one of the great breeds for those hunters that love to search at night. And now Tennessee search for a touchdown as they take the opening of the second half kickoff in the end zone for a touchback. Stanley Morgan wisely downing it, and you look at the Tennessee men up front: Love, Johnson, Cone, Urabeck, Satterfield, Schaefer, and Gravitt. And in the backfield, it'll be a great athlete, Condredge Holloway at quarterback, number 7, 24, standback, 81, Fitzpatrick, 36, Bill Rudder. So from the 20, Bud and Duffy, first down.
I'm really concerned about the stamina of Holloway. He's the key to Tennessee being solidly in the game, and he's taken quite a beating in the first half.
Yarbrough is in the backfield, number 17 instead of Fitzpatrick. And the Alabama defense is quickly in on Haskell standback, led by Mike DeBose.
The score 14-10 21 and the Alabama statistics dominating, but these are two sensational defensive football teams, really, and we've had almost 400 total yards gained. A very even game. Alabama 1 touchdown ahead and about that far ahead statistically.
Now we have Tommy West, number 23 in the lineup on a 2nd down and 9, just beyond the 20. 21-14, Alabama, Tennessee with the ball. That's what we mean about Holloway. Wayne Rhodes, the sophomore defensive back from Decatur, Georgia, making the tackle at the 19 or the
and
29.
That's what we mean too, Chris, about the price that he pays each time he carries the ball. They really do close on him. Let's watch Lowe, number 47 here. Great sophomore linebacker for Alabama, fighting through a block. And as Holloway turns up the field, Lowe drives at him, but Holloway slips low, and then he really does get belted, as you can see.
Terry Moore is in at fullback now on a 3rd and 1. It looks like it's enough for the Tennessee first down. Standback carried on the play, number 24. If you just joined us, Alabama took the opening kickoff, the first snap from scrimmage, an 80-yard touchdown pass, Rutledge to Wheeler. Then they came back and drove 65 yards for another score. Then it was Tennessee going 67 yards to score. And then Todd, the number 2 quarterback for Alabama, hit Shelby for another touchdown. And then 39 yards in 8 plays, Tennessee, so it's 21-14. From the 30, Holloway churns out across the 35, and Woodrow Lowe was there.
Let's watch this fine linebacker, Lowe. Here he comes. He's the off linebacker. He has to come all the way across the field now. He sees the scrambling by Holloway. Holloway's been the key man in every key play so far for Tennessee. Here comes Lowe back again and saves a long gainer.
Holloway has completed 8 of 11 for 118 yards. He wants to throw now. The man is wide open. Wide open. And Mitchell Kravitz, 64 yards, and now with an extra point, it'll be a tie game.
Oh, they really fooled him on that one.
80-yard drive, 64-yard touchdown pass, Holloway to Kravitz from Nixon, Tennessee. Wow.
Got a receiver that wide open. Some quarterbacks have a tendency to hang the ball a little bit, but they don't want to miss the pass. Holloway just drilled it, and Kravitz didn't ever have to break stride.
That had to be a mistake on the defensive assignment there, Bud.
Townsend barefoots it. Tie game, 21 all. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter in one of the great battles of college football.
Great sound, Sam.
Hey, man, if you want really great sound, General Electric's got it all together with these tape recorders. This baby's got a counter that shows you the spots you want to play back and how much tape is left. There's even a built-in mic. There's an FM, AM radio with this number. Stereo 8-track tape player and FM stereo radio here. Great entertainment, get the greatest with GE tape recorders. Dig?
The latest in tape recorders by General Electric, the great entertainer.
Well, I give 100% all the time. I believe that the game is played between those 2 white lines, and after the game is over with, I like to go in my locker room and feel like I can look in the mirror and say, well, I've given it all I got. That's why I like to use Brute, because it gives me 100%. It smells good. It stays with me a lot longer.
Brute by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
On the field, I let my bat do the talking. Off the field, I let my Brute do the talking.
Tennessee in white and orange has just tied the score. 21 all. 12:40 to go, 3rd quarter. The Volunteers kicking to the Crimson Tide now. Listen to this crowd. The 12-yard line fielded by Alabama. Coming up now to about the 25 is Mark Putnam.
Let's watch Townsend. He's the barefooted kicker. He's got tape wrapped around it. He's a side wheeler, soccer-type kick. This one he didn't catch quite the way he wanted to. He hit it a little bit high, and it was a driving, bouncing kick. That kind of stings a little, doesn't it, Duff?
It sure does. It hurts.
Tennessee down at one time 14-7. Have now tied the score. Gary Rutledge, quarterbacks for Alabama. There he is. And you can bet that the volunteer defense, which has been tough on rushing all year, allowing a little over 90 yards per game, that time led by Poley and Wilson.
Wishbone teams like to make yardage, and that's Lindsey Nelson's daughter there in the mascot uniform. But Wishbone teams, the first down for them is always a very important play because they need to get ahead of the defense. Alabama, not counting that 80-yard pass play on first down, averaged 5.4 yards in the first half on first down snaps.
All right, 2nd down and 8 now from the 27. Here's Rutledge. Wheeler is there. First down at the 44. John Murdoch on a hard hit on number 82, Wayne Wheeler, who caught the touchdown pass that covered 80 yards.
Here's Wayne Wheeler now. He runs down. It's a simple out pattern. They have to respect his speed, so he gets open, makes a nice catch, and a first down.
And the Alabama Twirlers. We hope you saw them at halftime with quite the midriffs, gentlemen.
Keeps them cool.
From the 44 now, first down, the score tied 21 all, 11:34 to go, third quarter, Rutledge, Alabama. Jackson, the midfield stripe. Carmichael making the play defensively. So it was about a 6-yard gain. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 4.
Let's watch number 70 here, Pulliam. He's the defensive tackle for Tennessee. And he is really popped by Brown, and they really stay with each other here. This is following through on your block, and it's also trying to find him if you're playing defense.
Now from the wishbone split end, 2nd down and 4. First down, Alabama. Randy Billingsley.
That's one of my favorite plays, the inside belly, the second man through.
My favorite play is when they make yardage stuff.
No, I like that, though. I like to fake it to the fullback and give it to a fast halfback.
There you see Wheeler, Sprayberry, Patterson, Eckenrod, Rogers, Brown, and Pugh up front. Rutley, Jackson, Billingsley, and Spivey. In the backfield, number 24, Spivey. Beck is not in there at the moment, but Bear Bryant has a lot of backs with which to work. Wayne Wheeler, great end is to the far side of the field on a 1st and 10 from the 36. Spivey, 24, carrying on the play.
That may not look like a spectacular play, but they'll unpile, and it'll be 2nd and 5. Very effective.
That's also the key for sustaining a running attack. Make the yardage on first down, and now the defense is in a bind. They're, in baseball terms, it's behind the hitter when it's 2nd down and 5.
Joe Gallagher, a freshman, making the tackle, Duffy.
Yes, and we're in 4-down territory. Not we, the Alabamans are. The spectators in 4-down territory.
2nd down. First down, Alabama. Wilbur Jackson.
That was the inside belly again. I can't give any credit to the play. I have to give it all to Jackson on that effort, Bud.
Watts had the safety rush or safety blitz on there. He did come through absolutely clean, but then he missed the tackle. We have an official's timeout here for the measurement to see if Bama has picked up another first down.
Yeah, I was a little early in making the call.
It's obviously short about a foot to 18 inches.
All right.
I don't know.
No, it's by inches.
Well, we're not going to quibble over half a foot.
No, but I'm sorry I said it was a first down.
I don't think you have anything to worry about. They're going to make it.
Harvard 7, Cornell 3 at halftime. And don't forget the Prudential College scoreboard, which follows our telecast. Merle Harmon and Dave Dials bringing you up to date on all the scores. Columbia trailing Yale.
Princeton's coming alive, 28-0 against Colgate.
Pitt and Boston College 14-6 2nd quarter. Penn State 19, Syracuse nothing 2nd quarter. Here the score is tied 21 all. 3rd down and inches. First down. On Wide World of Sports today, Muhammad Ali and Rudy Lubers, 12-round heavyweight bout from Jakarta, Indonesia. Plus the National 500 stock car race from Charlotte. That's on Wide World, 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central. Don't forget next Saturday on most of these stations, Notre Dame, Southern Cal from South Bend.
That'll make your adrenaline flow just like this one.
Oh, this is something, isn't it, Bud? He had the ball, and then he dropped it. John Murdoch, who's been defensively a giant today, stepped between Wayne Wheeler and Gary Rutledge, the Alabama quarterback.
Ball is a little bit underthrown, and he did have it for a moment, but couldn't quite find the handle.
Bud, that was a very dangerous pass to throw. He threw it all the way across the field, and it takes the defensive back only a matter of a second to cover 5 or 6 yards to get there.
Second down and 10 now from the 22. Alabama with the ball. The score tied 21-all. A marker is down as tackles were made everywhere. There's great ball handling by the wishbone quarterback, Rutledge. Billingsley carried. Rutledge, who went left, was tackled, and we have a holding penalty against Alabama.
That's the first major penalty in the game. There was only one penalty in the entire first half, an offside by the University of Tennessee. So this is the second penalty and the first major penalty of the game.
All right, there you see the referee. He is R.P. Williams, and I believe videotape. Our crack ABC crew have it for you. Let's take a look.
This is the tight end, George Pugh, the Alabama. Let's watch him as he fires out here. And I think you can see him hooking that arm with his left arm. And as he makes that hook, the officials see it, and that's the holding penalty, costing the Crimson Tide 15 yards.
And it brings the ball back to the 37, second down and 25. Great mirror of how Alabama fans feel as Wheeler is to the left, number 82. Carries. Ooh, there's hard hitting on the artificial turf. Art Reynolds was there, number 55 from Cincinnati.
That was good judgment by Rutledge. He's going to move the ball down in there, and if they're short on this next down, they'll try a field goal. They were out of field goal range, but now they're back in field goal range again.
Third down and 15. The ball at the 27. The score is tied 21-all. If you just joined us, Alabama scoring quickly. Tennessee coming back with a touchdown. Then Alabama, then Tennessee. And Tennessee here in the first series after the second half kickoff went 80 yards in 5 plays, a 64-yard touchdown play. Alabama with the ball. Spivey out of bounds at the 19.
That was an option away from the slot, away from the strength of the formation. They ran it to the fullback, and it picked up quite a bit of yardage, just a little bit short of a first down.
He's got remarkable speed. In fact, all of these Alabama backs do, and they keep them all fresh. They just keep coming at you, coming at you, coming at you.
Steve Poole, who was in on the play, was shaken up with the line of scrimmage at the 19, the third member of the Davis family. Yeah, Bill Davis took try. Rutledge holding, plus the 10 of the end zone where the goalposts are situated. On the end line, it is 36 yards. It is up. No good. Tennessee takes over with the score tied 21-all. So Alabama, that started a drive on the 25, have it falter at the 19 on a missed 36-yard field goal. It's 21-all.
There's a very serious energy shortage facing this nation. We must find new oil reserves in our country to help meet our increasing oil needs. But we must find these new reserves without upsetting the harmony of nature. If you'd all gather round, we'd like to talk with you. At Texaco, a special task force, the Texaco Environmental Protection Department, helps guide the company's continuing efforts to help protect the earth, the air, and the water. For years, it has been Texaco's policy, when developing an oil field in the forest, to observe every available precaution so as not to permanently disturb the forest or its wildlife. We know about natural resources. We know how precious they are. After all, a natural resource, oil, is vital to our energy needs. We're working to keep your trust.
Not only one of the most successful, but one of the most resourceful coaches, Bear Bryant, with a big fan behind the Alabama team bench to keep them cool on a warm afternoon in Birmingham. Score tied 21-all after a missed field goal. Tennessee has it first and 10 at the 20. And Condredge Holloway, who handed off to Standback, has thrown 12 times today, completing 9, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Bud, in that last drive, there was a penalty that was costly.
You normally classify intercepted passes, fumbles, assignment mistakes as errors, but that major penalty, 15 yards, is about the worst error that a team can commit. Bama had the momentum going and probably would have scored had they not had that error.
Holloway, number 7, who is from Huntsville, Alabama, quarterbacking Tennessee. 21 all. Stanley Morgan, 21, is to the far side. 2nd and 5, markers everywhere. Penalty flags.
I've been worrying about that delay of the game right from the start. He's been checking signals at the line of scrimmage as Alabama jumps their defense, and it takes a little while to do it, and that time it took too long.
R.P. Williams is the referee. Cliff Norvell, the umpire. Ed Copeland, the linesman. Paul Sprayberry, the field judge. Bill Tees, the back judge. And James Harper, the clock operator.
Holloway's been involved in every crucial, key, successful play that Tennessee has operated in today.
Okay, Duffy, 2nd and 10 following the penalty. Oh, I'll tell you, Stanley Morgan was on the move, but the pass was a little long.
That is known as a long, incomplete forward pass.
I think he was open, too. Holloway just had a little too much on the ball.
The ball in the air, 45 yards. Holloway once turned down a Montreal professional baseball bonus to stay at Tennessee and play football. He missed spring practice to play with the Tennessee baseball team. And here he is pitching football. He has tied the score 21 all, and there he is again. Short. Intended for Emmon Love of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a senior.
It's too bad. 2 poorly thrown passes in a row by Holloway. He hasn't done that all day long.
I don't know whether he's beginning to get a little bit tired, Duff, or whether he's just a little bit over anxious, but certainly he didn't look to be the same quarterback on that series as he has previously. I think he'll come back, however, in the next series. This is the second time that Tennessee has punted this afternoon.
Neil Clayball, very fine punter, into a slight wind. Lost his footing and didn't get the effectiveness he wanted. In fact, it's inside the 40. Now taking a Tennessee bounce. Then an Alabama bounce. It's dead about at the 35, but it did go 44 yards, which isn't bad. And that's a good number.
Let's watch him. Same number as the kicker's number here. And as he goes for the ball, his feet go out from under him, but he did hit it. That looked like Charlie Brown.
Where was Snoopy? He's on the near sideline, the blue tick coonhound, the Tennessee mascot. All right, Alabama has the ball now at its own 35, and the score is tied 21 all. Gary Rutledge is the quarterback. And the wishbone stays on the ground for a yard or two.
And you can feel the tension building and building as this game has gone into from a 21-21 tie. Let's take a look at Tennessee's Mike Smith, number 75, reading perfectly here, and he almost missed the fullback, but he saw him get the ball, reached and made the tackle.
That was another reserve Culliver carrying, Bud. Bears sending in the backs. So a 2nd down and 8. 3-yard gain by Willie Shelby, who scored the last touchdown, I believe, for Alabama.
It's a big play for Alabama. They've moved the ball almost with total authority and consistency all afternoon.
Coach Bryant has great confidence in the second-string backfield. He continues to play a lot of men, Bud.
I would have, too. They're all averaging over 5 yards a try.
All right, Johnny Sharpless, 16 to the near side on a 3rd and 5 from their own 40. Alabama with the ball, score tied. First down, Crimson Tide. Warren Dyer of Florence, Alabama. Cut it.
Very fine execution.
You know,
this is Dyer, the tight end. There's a great running fake on the play. Rutledge faking the backfield as Dyer goes out, and it was just a little jump pass. It was the fake, not the route, that got him open.
1st and 10 now at the Tennessee 45. The score tied 21 all. 4:43 to go, 3rd quarter. Willie Shelby carrying on the play.
That's our favorite play, the inside belly, 4 yards.
And Michigan moving ahead, 21-0 in the 2nd quarter over Wisconsin.
I may move them into my top 5 next week, Bud.
That game's not over yet.
Second down and about 6. You know, Rutledge does such a great job at faking from the wishbone quarterback position that almost every time a back carries the ball, he gets tackled.
He does a great job with his eyes, too, Chris. The key to successful faking is to look at the man you fake to when you've got the ball yourself, and then never to look at him if you've given him the ball.
There he is, Gary Rutledge, a junior.
Here's a crucial play. They're still not in four down territory.
They need 4 yards. They did not get it. And John Murdick, gentlemen, again in on the tackle, a junior cornerback.
Murdick is not very big, 5'11", 170, but he's a hitter.
And it's up to you two to choose a Chevrolet offensive and defensive player of the game for that $1,000 scholarship award to the school that the 2 players represent.
Well, in most of our games thus far, Chris, I think that we've known who those players were by this point in the contest, but today I sure can't tell, at least up to now.
Now from midfield, Greg Gant's punt is high in the air at Legion Field in Birmingham. The All-American city. And there are some All-Americans on the football field, believe me, as we have a tie score, 21 all, with 2:54 to go, third quarter.
History will record that it appeared late in the year 1973. It came to lead the people out of the land of the ordinary car. It came, they will say, with the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the face of a Laguna. And the people came with it. They were carried in swivel bucket seats, surrounded every one by things pleasing to the eye and to the ear and to the touch. And they moved. The car is the 1974 Chevelle Laguna Type S3 by Chevrolet. The time is now. Come with us.
On the left, Coach of the Year twice in the houndstooth Bear Bryant hat, the man who's taken Alabama to 14 consecutive bowl games. And on the right, a former player, Bill Battle, who coaches Tennessee. They now have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 20. Score tied, and there's a 6-yard pop.
First time that they've used a very quick counter. This game, football is always a physical contest, and the team that wins physically usually wins on the scoreboard, and we're getting that kind of a finish here as we've got 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the third quarter. The best conditioned team is going to have the advantage.
They've made Alabama so conscious of Holloway that now they've opened up the middle a little bit.
And needing 4 yards, and it appears that Tennessee's ground game has picked up a first down right.
That used to be one of the axioms of quarterbacking. If the play works, come right back with it until they stop it. And Holloway didn't even put another play in. He ran the same play twice.
See the Tennessee offense on the right. That was Bill Rudder, who carried both times for a 12-yard gain. 1st and 10 from the 32. Rudder's 36. This time it was Standback 24. And number 72 of Alabama is Skip Kabilas of Morrow, Georgia, 6'5", 251. Tyrone King in on the tackle. There's an end zone shot at Legion Field. It's been a sellout for months.
It's been worth waiting for.
Oh, yes. 2nd down and 9. Holloway. Wayne Hall coming in, joined by 54, Mike DeBose.
Bud, Holloway amazes me more and more as the game progresses. The average quarterback would have lost a few yards on that play.
He's so remarkably quick, and when a tackler approaches him, he seems to have that ability to just fade and kind of slip every tackle. You just don't get a good straight-ahead pop at him ever.
Tennessee with an 11-game win streak going for them. Undefeated this year, 5 straight. On a 3rd and 7, Holloway to Mitchell Gravitt, incomplete. 4th and 7 coming up.
And Gravitt was open. I think that he was trying to run before he caught the ball. It was, let's take a look at it here and see if he does take his eyes off it. The fake was to the top of the screen. Gravitt looking downfield, then he runs a little turnout. The pass comes all the way across the field. It is low. It looked like he had his eyes on it all the way, but he just didn't hold it.
And now Neil Clavo punting for the Tennessee Volunteers from Knoxville. Shelby is deep. Shelby looking at the ball, taking a Tennessee bounce. Tennessee will try to down it. They do at about the 1. What a weapon. The punt becomes 62 yards, and Alabama now will be facing the quick and hard-hitting Tennessee defense. The spot was the 4. That's where the referee placed it. Mike Caldwell, you see him coming to the near sideline, number 79, who downed it. And he is from Birmingham, playing for Tennessee.
Tennessee has punted the ball 3 times. Their net yardage, that's not counting returns, is 38, 44, 62.
Rutledge calling signals. Good run by Wilbur Jackson. They needed it right there from the 4-yard line, Duffy, out to about the 11.
And the man that you see on the screen would be a big loss. That's Uribeck, the great senior center. He's the anchor of the Tennessee line, and it looks as though he did get a leg on that play. I don't know what kind of an injury, but the way he's holding it looks like a knee.
Right knee. 2nd down and 3 now for Alabama at about the 11, their own. Score tied, 21 all. 1st down, Crimson Tide. Billingsley carrying.
That's that good old reliable inside belly. 2nd man through, good for a 1st down. We have a cliffhanger here.
Bear Bryant, Alabama 36. 134 victories as head coach here. Overall, 225. We'll be back in a minute.
The radial tire. Before you buy one, you should know they're not all the same. Some of them have a polyester cord body to soak up the shocks, and some have tough double steel belts for extra strength, and some have a computer-designed tread pattern to hold in the wet. And some have special outside grooves for precise cornering. And some have steel sidewall stabilizers for positive control. But of all the radials made today, only Goodyear has them all. Before you buy a radial, look at the Goodyear Custom Steel Guard, the radial with these 5 guards to help protect you 5 ways. Steel Guard, only from Goodyear.
Watch The President's Plane is Missing, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central.
As we look at the Tennessee cheerleaders, Uribeck, their offensive center, who injured a right knee, it appears now, after diagnosis, that he will be back in the ball game. Right now, he can rest it because the Alabama offense has it. 1st and 10, and the ball is at the 17 with the score tied. What a game. Start of the 4th and final quarter. Randy Billingsley out to the 26, short by about 1.5 yards of the 1st down. Art Reynolds on the tackle.
Reynolds is the middle linebacker. There he fights off the block very well and almost overran the play, but had balance enough to come back and make the tackle.
But all the color and excitement of college football, and what a way to spend an autumn afternoon.
Well, you're so right.
2nd and 1 now, Alabama. Score tied, 21 all. Jackson. A face-to-face stop. Wilbur Jackson being met by Eddie Brown.
That's an old-fashioned play. It was a sweep, just a handoff.
The statistics show Alabama leading all the way. They're not quite up to Tennessee in passing, but they are in total yardage. They're in offensive plays, and They've had the ball 7 minutes longer, and this is really a great game, as we've mentioned. Almost 600 yards total offense against two great defensive teams.
42 total points. Jackson again. Look at that desire. Eddie Brown again feeling the wrath of Wilbur Jackson, the senior from Ozark, Alabama. Another Crimson Tide first down.
Hey, Chris, guess what that play was? An inside belly.
And that note on your screen indicates the number of people that Alabama plays and the freshness in the fourth quarter that they have, together with the finesse, power. They're a team that comes down the stretch with great strength.
And on 3 plays, they've moved it from the 17 to the 48. On the ground. Oh, and did he have possession? It appears that he did, yes. An interception by Tennessee. Jim Watts of Jacksonville, Florida, number 26, intercepts, and Tennessee takes over. Alabama with 2 turnovers, Tennessee 1.
Mrs. Wheeler coming down the field. It was the fake of the inside belly play that Duffy's been talking about. The ball was underthrown. Watts moves across and makes a fine interception. He was trying to pull loose, drop the ball, but he was obviously down before he did drop it.
And Tennessee, the Volunteers, who have tied the score 21 all, have a 1st and 10 at the 12. The Battle of the South. Holloway, the quarterback. Bill Rudder, who's becoming very important here in the second half.
As quick as Alabama's defensive players are, Rudder's only about 3.5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Standback to tailback's about 6.5 yards back, and that first man gets there just a whole lot quicker.
This game has everything, fellas. It done it. Running, passing, excitement, interceptions.
2nd down and 6 now from the 16. Tennessee. Haskell Standback of Kannapolis, North Carolina, carrying it for Tennessee. It appears that he's across the 20, just short of a Tennessee first down. Mike Raines, Chuck Strickland on the tackle. There you see, 3rd down, less than a yard. Chuck Strickland on the tackle. There you see, 3rd down, less than a yard. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are, whether it's a Manhattan apartment, a farm in Oklahoma, or a ranch in Texas, wherever. And Alabama's defense there when it was needed. 4th down.
And they took the gamble and it worked. They were playing run all the way, and Tennessee went into the power I, which is supposed to give you extra blocking, but it was really some close. We're going to have a measurement.
I don't think he made it, but it was a slow hitting play. They handed it to the tailback, and it developed too slowly.
John Kroll was very prominent defensively, number 83. Here's the measurement. It is 4th down. 4th down. Score tied. 12:19 to go in the game. It's 21 all.
I'm getting quite good in that hindsight department, Bud.
Well, it gives you a little bit of confidence. Claybo is really an outstanding punter, and when you've got to punt.
Robin Clary is in single safety for Alabama. Here's Claybo's kick. There's Carey at the 36. yards. And throwing the block was John Crow. Touchdown, Alabama. Well, it's one of the most exciting Saturday afternoons or evenings I've ever spent, Bud. This is our 8th year of NCAA football. And as Duffy just mentioned a moment ago, it has everything, including a punt return, a 44-yard kick, a 64-yard six-pointer.
Beautiful blocking by the entire Alabama team as Davis' kick is up and good.
Now, Alabama has regained the lead 28-21 with 11 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the game.
The Great One presents
The great entertainers from General Electric. What value? A selection of 100% solid-state color sets in a multitude of screen sizes. You get brilliant performance and the brightest, sharpest pictures in GE history. I demand value for my hard-earned inheritance. I'm having Mother put a GE in every room of my villa.
General Electric Television, The Great Entertainer.
The House of Windsor invites you to try a better 15-cent cigar. Oh, go ahead. Try one.
You know something? This really is a better cigar.
Yes, House of Windsor really is a better 15-cent cigar.
And now a dazzling punt return, Bud.
They're all team plays. Carey makes a great move here to give himself some room. And there's another tackle he slipped, but now watch the Alabama defense block for him. They came all the way back. And now watch the poise that he has. And look at this great block. That was King.
And here's the kick following the lead touchdown. Paul Carruthers has it for Tennessee, and a good run back out to about the 30. Alabama's in the lead, 28-21, 11:47 to go in this classic.
You don't know when that dam is going to break again. Each time that ball is snapped, I've got a feeling something sensational is going to happen.
Now Holloway, the Tennessee quarterback, he has passed for 2 touchdowns. He has run for a touchdown. Mr. Everything. He'll try to now move it from the 30-yard line. Here he is, through the air. Complete at the 45. First down, Tennessee. Eamon Love, number 85, a great end who had caught 2 touchdown passes coming into the game, got it.
Love moving off the line of scrimmage. Holloway made an inside fake, but not too good a running fake. Love is running the curl pattern, and Holloway drills it to him. First down, Tennessee.
But you can't give him that much time back there. He'll either kill you running or passing.
Now Yarbrough is set to the far side of the field on a 1st and 10 from their own 46. Tennessee with the ball, trailing 28-21. Into Alabama territory to the 49 on a leaping carry. Paul Carruthers from Lafayette, Georgia. Prudential College scoreboard follows this telecast where Merle Harmon and Dave Dials will bring you up to date on all the scores, followed by Wide World of Sports. Muhammad Ali, Rudy Lubers on a fight via satellite from Jakarta, Indonesia, and the controversial 500 stock car race from Charlotte. Tennessee have advanced the ball to the 41 of Alabama. Tom Fitzpatrick. There he is, number 81. Caught the pass.
Great success all afternoon with the against the grain pass. The Alabama defense is so mobile, they react so rapidly that they go with the first fake, and it's hard for them to get back when the pass goes against the grain.
Well, the very first snap of the ball game was an 80-yard touchdown by Alabama. We've had everything today. Holloway pitching it out on a 1st and 10 play. That's a member of the Tennessee band.
And Mike DeBose made a great play. He refused to be faked by Holloway and then made a clean tackle.
You know, we talk about Alabama using a lot of running backs. Well, Holloway today has thrown to 7 different receivers.
Pretty good depth on the receiver corps for Alabama. Yes. There's his statistics. Most impressive. Great athlete.
2nd and 10. Here's Holloway. A gain of 2 yards. David Watkins from Rome, Georgia, number 93, in on the play.
That was crucial because had he not made that tackle, Holloway would have gone for a first down.
So it brings up 3rd down and 8 here at Legion Field.
Let's watch Love going downfield here, and you can see he's hit very, very hard by number 54. Then he gets hit by another linebacker, and he couldn't get downfield, so Holloway had no chance, and he's sacked.
Mike DeBose There he is, number 54, sacked the quarterback. In a widespread formation on third down, it's the second sacking of the quarterback today by Alabama, and it's a punting situation, Bud, for the Volunteers.
Very key defensive play.
That's the only defense against a player of Holloway's scrambling ability. You got to get to him by plugging a linebacker, getting somebody there to him.
There's Bill Battle, the coach of Tennessee, and here's his punter, Neil Clabo. The last time they punted, a boy named Curry went 64 yards with the punt for a score, and there he is again calling for a fair catch.
That was a pretty good act.
50 yards. So the Crimson Tide leading 28-21 on a 64-yard punt return by Carey. Will snap it soon.
Texaco is proud to introduce a fantastic new mileage ingredient. You. Yes, you. Because during the energy shortage, you want to conserve gasoline. And the way you drive can do more to give you better mileage than any additive ever could. For example, gradual stops and easy starts can save you up to 2 miles per gallon in city traffic. So take it easy. Avoid jackrabbit starts. Driving at 50 instead of 70 can mean about a 25% saving. And you can enjoy the scenery better. If you make sure your air conditioner is off when you don't need it, you can get up to 10% more miles to the gallon. And badly underinflated tires can also cut down on your mileage. So remember, watch the way you drive. You're the best mileage ingredient you can put in your car. And you don't cost a penny extra.
For the first time in 27 years, Alabama and Tennessee are meeting where both teams are undefeated. 5 victories each. It was tied until a moment ago when a boy named Carey of Alabama took a Tennessee punt 64 yards for a touchdown. Alabama leads 28-21. 8:52 left in the game following a Tennessee punt. Alabama now first and 10 at the 20. Rutledge is the quarterback. Wheeler 82 to the near side. Jackson Carey. He may go 80 yards and score. There it is. 80 yards, Wilbur Jackson, touchdown.
He is some ball carrier. Big, fast.
That's his second touchdown today, but that was a beauty. First snap again, 80 yards.
That was an old-fashioned sweep play, a handoff from the quarterback with a fullback and the right halfback leading him, Bud.
That is the longest run for a touchdown ever against Tennessee in a series that dates back to 1901. What a game, Duffy.
That freshness of the backs is telling off now. It's paying off. It's telling.
Bill Davis ups the count. 35-21. 56 points scored, and we have 8 minutes and 34 seconds left in this Southern shootout. Let's see it again, Bud.
It's the wishbone formation. Normally it's a reading type play where you fake to the fullback, but this is just a straight single wing, old-fashioned type sweep. And this is an outstanding job of ball carrying. And watch the superior speed that Jackson has. He simply outruns the Tennessee defense.
Bud, you know, about 5 or 6 years ago, Jackson would probably have been playing for Michigan State.
Listen to this predominant Alabama crowd. Imagine the Alabama and Tennessee fans watching this telecast. Well, we hope you're all enjoying it. It's been a whale of an afternoon, and we're going to need a rest after this game, Bud.
Tennessee was behind 14-0 in the first quarter, and they came back. Maybe they can do it again.
All right, 8:34 to go. Tennessee's going to bring it out of the end zone. Stanley Morgan. Lust breaks away. Look at that desire. Loose ball. Alabama gets it.
He was pretty deep in the end zone to bring that one out. He did give it a great effort.
The boy that ran the punt back 64 yards for a touchdown has recovered the fumble for the Crimson Tide.
Let's watch it again. You can see he's 5 yards deep in the end zone. He tries to make a move and is hit very hard. Slides off. There's that second effort, but there pops the ball, and Carey is on it for the Crimson Tide.
They talk about ping pong being back and forth. This game is unbelievable. Paul Spivey, number 24, goes 19 yards, first and goal, Tide.
That's that first option, Bud, the handoff to the fullback. Very effective.
You know, we mentioned a colleague, Lindsey Nelson, whose daughter is in the mascot suit for Tennessee. I can think of an Alabama graduate, another colleague, Mel Allen, that must be eating this up wherever he is.
You bet he is. He's enjoying it.
All right, first and goal now from the 3. Randy Billingsley.
I don't know the meaning of do anything except full speed, Tennessee or Alabama.
I can empathize with Bill Battle and the Tennessee staff and players because they've played a wonderful game today, and it just seems like the roof was falling in here the last couple of minutes.
And Duffy, they came into the game with 2 or 3 players injured that they'd certainly like to have about now. Second down and goal for the Crimson Tide. 7:26 to go in the game. That was Randy Billingsley.
Well, they hang tough.
An 80-yard touchdown pass, a 64-yard punt return, an 80-yard run from scrimmage. We've had everything today, Bud.
And that's the balance of the Alabama backfield. Everybody in it is a great ball carrier. Jackson, of course, having a great day today, but all of them dangerous with the ball anytime they get it.
And now credit to the Tennessee defense. They've kept them at the 3. This is the 3rd snap, 3rd down, goal to go. But going in was Spivey, number 24, the senior from Montgomery, Alabama. Steve Patterson from Omaha, Nebraska, the quick guard, helped open the hole. 40-21, but
let's watch it again from the end zone camera. He simply comes back against the grain as we get an excellent block by number 73 of Alabama. It's Zubinsky, and the kick is good.
Bill Davis has been perfect with the extra point conversions. It's now 42-21. Unbelievable.
Life is filled with little bumps. But General Motors cars for 1974 face up to them beautifully. This Chevelle Laguna Type S3 from Chevrolet has a resilient front end that resists minor dents and dings. The GM energy-absorbing bumper on this 1974 Buick can take little bumps like this. And Pontiac's Grand Am has a squeezable nose you just won't believe. This new Oldsmobile has a hinged grille that swings back when the bumper gets bumped. And this 1974 Cadillac's bumper and grille move back and forth together upon minor impact. As you can see, General Motors builds bumper systems to look good and at the same time help protect your investment. And that goes for the rear as well as the front. We want you to drive what you like and like what you drive.
Would you believe that Alabama now leads 42-21 when only moments ago the score was tied at 21-all, but it just shows the power, the depth of the Crimson Tide. And wouldn't it be great, Bud, to see them play Ohio State, see them play Oklahoma?
See them play anybody.
They're playing a powerful team in Tennessee. Tennessee coming from behind to tie it, and now it's Carruthers bringing back the kick. He is down at the 16. 18-yard return, and Condredge Holloway, who's quarterback Tennessee today, will be coming in there as Lefty Perry is in on the tackle. He's from Hazel Green, Alabama.
Chris, when I mentioned that Jackson would have probably been a Michigan State about 5 years ago, I think it's great that these fine, great black athletes can play at any school in the country now, but we used to, every year, Bud, take 4 or 5 of the greatest athletes, the black athletes out of the South, and that certainly has hurt our football in recent years.
Yeah, when they stay at home and play, it adds a great deal of speed, and versatility to the offense.
You just saw the man from Fordyce, Arkansas, Paul Bear Bryant, as Bill battles Tennessee Volunteers with a 1st and 10 at the 16. Holloway. John Kroll, number 83, and Randy Hall, 62. Hall is from Huntsville, and so is the man they tackled, Condredge Holloway.
These Alabama fans almost really believe that Coach Paul Bear Bryant can walk on the water, and I'm almost beginning to believe them.
Well, I don't know whether Shug Jordan believes it or not.
All right, now it's 2nd down and 17 for the Tennessee Volunteers. Holloway throwing long. Boy, it was in the air. John Yarbrough was the intended receiver. 55 yards in the air. And there is Jackson, number 80.
And Missouri still rolling along, leading Oklahoma State 7-0.
Jackson, there's a good look at him, who has 2 touchdowns today, 1 an 80-yard run. He has 148 yards on 12 carries. So now it's a 3rd down and 17 for the Volunteers. They just come from everywhere, those Alabama defenders. 57 was flying through there, who made the hard hit, Conley Duncan.
Just nothing like being fresh. If you can have everybody fresh all of the time, you get that total all-out effort all of the time.
We got to praise Tennessee all we can, because they've played a great game, but their punter, 5 punts, he is averaging 49.5 yards. And there he is at the bottom of your screen, number 44. Robin Carey is deep. He ran a punt back 64 yards for a touchdown. There he is. Not this time. Good kick coverage by the Volunteers. A 54-yard punt by Clabo. Fitzpatrick on the tackle. And a reminder that the Prudential College scoreboard follows. Then Wide World of Sports, Muhammad Ali, Rudy Lubers, the fight from Jakarta, Indonesia, and the controversial 500 stock car race from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now leading 42-21 with about 5 minutes to go. It's Richard Todd quarterbacking Alabama from the 31. And the sophomore has desire. Eddie Brown making the tackle.
Also got ability.
Hasn't he got a lot of talent? Bear thinks he'll be better than Joe Namath or all the Scott Hunter, all the great ones at Alabama.
6'2", 210, 4'6", speed, 40 yards.
Chris, they tell the story of a few years ago after one of Bear's great winning seasons that he was out fishing with his rival coach from Auburn, Shug Jordan. And I'll tell you about it just as soon as we get a chance.
All right. 1st and 10 now from the 42.
Well, here we had these 2 great coaches out fishing, and they got about 50 yards from shore, and Shug Jordan says, he said, Bear, he said, I'm going to have to row back to shore because I left my favorite reel on the dock. He said, Bear said, never mind, he said, I'll walk out and get it. He took 1 step and plunged into the water. He came up sputtering. I'll finish it again after the next play.
All right. Bear Bryant's team has a 2nd and 6 from the 46, leading 42-21, coming up to the 4-minute mark. Ellis Beck, that senior fullback.
You got Bryant in the water, coming up sputtering, Duff.
Yeah.
Well, he was sputtering, and Shug pulled him into the boat. And Bear said, he said, heaven's sake, Shug, he said, don't tell those Alabama people that I can't walk in the water. He said, I won't, Bear, if you don't tell the Auburn people that I pulled you out.
All right, Duffy Doherty. All right, don't forget last week, the Chevrolet Scholarship winners were on offense Steve Davis of Oklahoma and on defense Lucius Selman of the Sooners. Who will it be today? Well, only Duffy Doherty and Bud Wilkinson know. They'll tell you after a while. We had a shift penalty, which is a 5-yarder. So it'll be a 2nd down and 11 as the ball comes back to the 41. Alabama leads 42-21. 4 minutes to go in the game. Richard Todd. You know, very often today, a sophomore named Denny Ridgway would run onto the field, bring the play, and then leave it immediately. So he probably has as much yardage as anybody. We'll see if we can spot him from time to time. He wears number 10 on the crimson jersey.
Can get in shape for the cross-country team.
Right. So it's a 3rd down and 6 now for the Crimson Tide, who led at halftime 21-14. They were tied in the 3rd quarter, but now lead 42-21. Beck. Touchdown scored by Wheeler, 2 by Jackson, Shelby, Carey, Spivey, Tennessee, Yarbrough, Holloway, and Gravitt.
70 Pulliam, the defensive tackle for Tennessee, is hit very hard by Brown, but he bounces off, retreats, makes a shoestring tackle.
So it's an Alabama 1st down at the 42 of Tennessee. Alabama ranked number 2 by the polls in the country, behind Ohio State. Duffy and Bud had their own rankings at the beginning. Duffy, you had Oklahoma number 1, right?
I did. I may have to do a lot of thinking between now and next
How
week.
about you, Bud? What team did you have on top?
Well, Southern California is still the defending national champion, and they're
speaking
undefeated.
of that,
and we get them next week against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Look at that. Over 800 yards, total offense, both teams, 63 total points, 2:24 to go. 2nd and 9, Alabama, the leader.
Beautiful faking, beautiful faking.
Speaking about next week's game, Southern Cal and Notre Dame, Notre Dame hasn't beaten Southern Cal in the last 7 meetings. They've had 2 ties and 5 losses, and I'm sure that Air would like to have the Irish change that trend a little bit, Bud.
That's an understatement. So would all of the Notre Dame alumni.
It'll be nice to get all our ABC crew back in Indiana that's blushing with color, those great trees we have back there.
Well, it's going to be a great game. One of the old traditional rivalries of college football, just like this one, and will be just as hotly contested.
3rd down and 4, and Todd, the sophomore quarterback. He has desire, and Bud said talent as well.
Hey, I'm pleased that Bear Bryant waited until after I got out of coaching before he made that $100,000 contribution to his alma mater and to the school where he's coaching. That may set a very dangerous precedent for other college coaches around the country.
I doubt it, Tuff, because there are very few.
Well,
of
there
them.
you see some of the equipment beneath the crimson jersey. And coming up on Wide World of Sports, don't forget the 12-round heavyweight bout between Muhammad Ali and Rudy Lubers from Jakarta, and the 500 stock car race from Charlotte Motor Speedway, where there was controversy galore. That's at 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central Time, preceded, of course, by Prudential College Scoreboard. Oh, boy.
Let's watch the line as they fire out here. We're going to be right on the line, and let's take a look now at how Alabama moves as the ball moves. That whole team moves right together, and that's what it takes to establish a running attack.
Richard Todd had to go over and get a new crimson jersey, number 14. He's doing that right now while Alabama, as Wilbur Jackson called a timeout. It'll be a 4th down and less than 1, and the ball is in Tennessee territory with Alabama leading 42-21 on a flawless autumn afternoon in Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be back.
Tom Terry, Weyerhaeuser forest scientist. His job, know as much as possible about forest soils. Nutrients, moisture, composition. Determine whether fertilizer is needed and when it should be applied. He covers a lot of ground, from testing soils in the rough and tumble backwoods of North Carolina to excavations in the thriving forest. Weyerhaeuser is spending millions of dollars to understand soils and tree growth, so we can keep our own forests green and growing forever. Like these fast-growing loblolly pines that have sprung up to 12 feet in just 4 short years. It's a tough, demanding job for a forester like Tom Terry, particularly when you take your work home with you every night. Weyerhaeuser, the tree-growing company.
Minute 22 left in the game. 4th down and less than a yard. Alabama goes for it, leading 42-21. Todd does it. And all of us associated in football and in sports were saddened yesterday by the untimely death of the former commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, Tonto Coleman.
A great man who made a tremendous contribution to college athletics, and particularly to college athletics in the Southeast.
So to Ann Coleman and all the Coleman family members, our deepest sympathy. 1st and 10 now from the 30 for Alabama. spectacular performance by a team ranked number 2, undefeated coming into this game, having defeated California, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Florida. And there, Bud, are your winners.
And I'm sure that many people perhaps thought that Condredge Holloway should be the offensive player of the game. He's had a sensational afternoon for Tennessee, but Alabama has won this football game, and Brown was a key factor and made the big play that put the icing on the cake.
And, of course, the game was tied at 21-all through the third quarter, but then Alabama, with a couple of spectacular plays, including an 80-yard run from scrimmage and a 64-yard punt return, busted it wide open.
But I think that Tennessee will win a lot of football games as the season progresses and unquestionably wind up in a bowl game.
Listen to this, Bud. Alabama snapped the ball 72 times. They churned out 23 first downs, scored 42 points, and made their legions happy here at Legion Field.
And their entire squad plays in the games. They're so deep everywhere, and everybody is fresh all of the time, and that puts great morale on a football team when everybody gets to play in the games.
I want to take it back. I said we have had everything in this game. We haven't had a field goal yet.
They had one attempt, unsuccessful. Danny Ridgway, the man that's been bringing in the plays, and I think it's very benevolent of Bear Bryant to let him have the ball, number 10, on the last play of the game, and a resounding, and Bear has enough players to carry him off the field. You can count on it. There it is, 42-21, and Bear Bryant has just coached his 226th victory in years at Maryland, Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Alabama, Bud.
And Bear has had one of the great careers of anyone in coaching. He seems to adjust with the times. He changes his football. He changes the relationships, patterns with players.
You can count on it. There it is, 42-21, and Bear Bryant has just coached his 226th victory in years at Maryland, Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Alabama, Bud.
And Bear has had one of the great careers of anyone in coaching. He seems to adjust with the times. He changes his football. He changes the relationships, patterns with players, and no matter what the rules are, substitution-wise or anything else, Bears teams are always there, ready, and play superior football.
The native of Fordyce, Arkansas, the home also of Larry Lacewell, who's the great defensive coach at Oklahoma.
You know that Bear got that nickname, Bear, Bud, I'm sure you know it, and Chris, you probably know it, because as a youngster out of Fordyce at the age of 16, he wrestled a bear that was with a traveling carnival.
I believe it.
Did he win?
I think he must have won. They just paid him that $100,000 prize that he got. That's what he used to pay off the University of Alabama.
He might have had the winnings out at interest for all that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, for all the scores, highlights of the games, Merle Harmon and Dave Dials are back in New York City to bring you our network show, Prudential College Scoreboard, and that'll be followed by ABC's Wide World of Sports. It'll be Muhammad Ali going against Rudy Lubers. Right now, we'd like to tell you that the executive producer of NCAA football is Roone Arledge. Today's coverage of the Tennessee-Alabama game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, technical director John Allen. Coming up next, the Prudential College Scoreboard, and don't forget tomorrow, it's College Football 73 with highlights of other games today. ABC's Wide World of Sports follows later today. Ali Lubers fight via satellite from Indonesia, and the national and controversial 500 stock car race from Charlotte. 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central. Our thanks to our spotter Bill Friel and statistician Terry O'Neill, who had a busy afternoon. Chris Schenkel speaking for Bud Wilkinson, Dopey Doherty, from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, chosen for travel by more sports teams than any other airline. NCAA football, Tennessee, Alabama has been brought to you by Weyerhaeuser, the tree growing company for lumber, plywood, paper, packaging, and thousands of other products from wood. By Texaco and the many thousands of independent Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. By Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA. And by United States Tobacco Company, House of Windsor, a better 15-cent cigar. The preceding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Oakland meets Denver on NFL Monday Night Football.
In the Big Ten, the powerhouse #1 rated Ohio State Buckeyes lead Indiana 24-0 at the half. And in that wild and woolly Big 8, here's an update now. Third quarter score, Oklahoma 14 and Colorado 7. That game is now at the half. Two of the big stories on the Prudential College scoreboard. The Prudential College scoreboard is brought to you by the Prudential Insurance Company of America. Talk to a Prudential representative about building financial security. Protect your family and your future with a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Merle Harmon along with Dave Dials. And how about those scores, huh? Oklahoma, Colorado, always a great battle in the Big 8, and who knows what's going to happen in that league, Dave?
You never know. I tell you, Delaware is hanging on right now, losing to Rutgers, Tennessee having lost to Alabama, so the nation's two longest winning streaks for the college division and for the major colleges may be kaput today.
Well, we started with 15 undefeated majors today. Before we swing into the scores in the East, I'd like to remind you we have a lot of excitement coming up for you on Wide World of Sports at 5 o'clock Eastern and Pacific time this afternoon. You'll be seeing via satellite from Indonesia the heavyweight fight between Muhammad Ali and Rudy Lubers, as Howard Cosell will be describing that one, and of course the controversial National 500 stock car race from Charlotte, and you'll be looking in on that too today on Wide World of Sports. Now let's take a look at what's happened in scores today, and first of all in the East, and let's talk about Harvard and the Ivy League, Harvard and Cornell. Well, Harvard, went into the game today with a 3-0 record, one of the 15 major undefeated teams in the nation, and looks like they're going to stay undefeated because they're leading Cornell by a score of 14-3. There's about 8 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter in that one. Dartmouth, which had not won this year, got off to a slow start today, but is now leading Brown 28-10 in Ivy League play. Dartmouth went into the game with a record of 0-3. Brown has not defeated Dartmouth since 1955. Well, the Eli of Yale and Columbia, that game is now in the fourth quarter. And Yale has had the fumbleitis this year, but they must be holding on to the ball today because the Eli is leading 16-0 in the fourth quarter. Colgate and Princeton. And in the third quarter, it's Princeton 31 and Colgate 15, as Princeton has done a pretty good job of shutting down Tom Parr this afternoon. Now let's go to the Yankee Conference, where Connecticut and Maine are mixing it up. Connecticut, of course, hopes to win that conference title this year, and Connecticut is leading by a score of 30-3. The game is now in the fourth quarter. Also in the Yankee Conference, it's New Hampshire 12 and Vermont 7. That game is also in the third period. Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Now, this is somewhat of a surprise. Massachusetts, defending Yankee Conference champion, the favorite in this one. A real struggle at halftime, but now Rhode Island's really turned it on in the third quarter and is out in front by a score of 34-21. And Pitt and Boston College, Johnny Majors' Panthers are rolling again this afternoon, featuring Tony Dorsett, the nation's second leading rusher, 142-yard average, only a freshman. Pitt 21, Boston College 7. Undefeated Penn State, the number 6 team in the nation, taking on winless Syracuse this afternoon. And the records, well, Penn State 5-0, Syracuse 0-5, and it'll be 0-6 and 6-0 when the afternoon's over. Fourth quarter, 6th-ranked Penn State 29, Syracuse 6. 8th-ranked Notre Dame playing at Army. Would you believe that Notre Dame had not played at West Point in 51 years, and this is the first time the Irish have ever played in Mackey Stadium? And they're leading Army by a score of 28-3 in the third quarter. You'll see highlights of that game next tomorrow on College Football 1973 at 12 o'clock Eastern and 11 Central. And next Saturday, regional football, it'll be USC and Notre Dame. And by the way, a little scouting report on that. Tom Clements will lead the Fighting Irish in that game, and they have defeated USC 25 times to 5 losses. That's the only advanced scouting report we're giving Howard Cosell for that one for next week.
Now, look at this score, will you? Delaware and Rutgers. Rutgers 17, Delaware 7. Could be the longest collegiate winning streak in the country going down the drain. Delaware had won 20 straight. Andy Ty's third period field goal from 27 yards out put Rutgers into the lead at 10-7, and the Scarlet Knights have gone on to score again. Now, Boston University and Temple. Wayne Hardin's Temple Owls had won 3 in a row, but they're losing in this one by a score of 28-7 in the third quarter. Well, Bucknell coach Fred Pender came off the disabled list today to guide his ball club. He had been sidelined with a heart attack. Bucknell playing Lafayette, and the Bison sure wanted to win that one for him. In the fourth quarter, though, it is no score. Air Force playing at Navy. Now, the Air Force had won 3 of the 5 previous games played, but right now in the third period, it is Navy 28 and the Air Force nothing. In a game played last night, Pennsylvania defeated Lehigh by a score of 27-20. That was only the second night game in Pennsylvania history, by the way. North Carolina Central and Maryland Eastern Shore. That game is now at the half, and it's deadlocked by a score of 7-7. We'll be back with more scores right after this message.
You look tired. No sleep. Leaky faucet. Drip, drip, drip all night long.
That's nothing. My whole basement's flooded from that water main break. Did you see it on the news? I did. The TV's busted. That's going to cost me
Not as much as I spent at that new restaurant down on Franklin Street last night. At least you had dinner. Our old refrigerator, that went on a bum, and you know how much that costs.
Nowadays, everybody has little unexpected expenses. Somehow, we manage to handle them.
Your dog didn't show up your new bowling shoes.
But most people need help for the big money problems, like retirement or family income and cash to pay off the mortgage if they're not around to provide it. And they can get it with a piece of the rock, Prudential Life Insurance. Today, more people are picking Prudential to help them build financial security than any other life insurance company.
I drove over my rig. Brakes are cheap. Radio tires aren't.
Protect your family and your future.
With a piece of the rock.
Prudential Insurance.
State rivalries are really great, aren't they? And certainly the one in Virginia is. Virginia and Virginia Tech playing this afternoon. Virginia Tech was winless in 6 ball games, but get a load of this. Tech on the way to an upset over Virginia, 17-15 in the fourth quarter before the largest crowd ever to see a sporting event in the Commonwealth. 38,000 seeing that one. Now let's go to the Atlantic Coast Conference. Maryland enjoying its finest year in a long, long time under Jerry Claiborne, who has built himself quite a ball club there. The Terps are leading Wake Forest 34-0. That game is in the fourth quarter, and of course the Terps would like to win that conference crown. 34-0 in the fourth period. Clemson is shutting out Duke by a score of 17-0 in the fourth quarter. This is not a surprise, by the way. The Tigers have themselves a good ball club this year. Last week they came from behind to beat Virginia, and they really felt they could beat the Blue Devils today. West Virginia and Richmond, and what in the world has happened to the Mountaineers? You know, they got off to a great start. They won 3 in a row. They've lost 2 in a row now. Richmond is one of the 15 major undefeateds going into action today, and the Spiders are on top 28-17 in that one. Well, quite a game on ABC television this afternoon, Alabama and Tennessee, and now for more excitement and color of that great contest today, let's swing down south once again and go to Chris Schenkel.
Number 80 for Alabama do a lot of things on the football field, including an 80-yard touchdown run from scrimmage in Alabama's 42-21 victory over powerful Tennessee. And we have Wilbur Jackson from Ozark, Alabama. And Wilbur, we'd like to congratulate you on winning the Offensive Player of the Game award.
Thank you very much.
You have a lot of great football players on your team.
Well, that's true, especially in the backfield and defensive linebacker. We have a lot of depth, and I think that was one for today in the fourth quarter. Depth helps a lot.
And you have enough depth, Wilbur, that it every now and then gives you an opportunity to get some rest.
And it helps a lot, too, especially in the fourth quarter.
What do you think of Coach Paul Bear Bryant, Wilbur?
I think he's a heck of a man. Personally, he's a good coach because the rest speaks for himself. And he's a good man personally to be around. You can learn a lot from him, like just being around him.
We mentioned during the game, Wilbur, that the temperature was somewhere between 75 and 80, but on the artificial surface, it must have been much warmer.
It was a little warm at the beginning of the game, but by the time before you got used to it, and after halftime, I feel pretty good.
Bud Wilkinson and Duffy Doherty, along with me, Wilbur, enjoyed watching you run. You're a great football player. And Bud, you may have a question of Wilbur.
Yeah, Wilbur, the thing that impressed me the most is not only the speed that you have when you break into the open, but the balance and carrying your weight in that hitting position so you run through those tackles. Do you have any special drills at Alabama teach you to do that, or is that just natural?
We just run outside drills against dummies, and they help us stay in bounds a lot. That's about all we do. We run a Miller drill back every day, and that helps a lot, too, to help you run inside. And that's about all we do.
Wilbur, this is Duffy Doherty. I was impressed with all of your backs, but I was very much impressed with your offensive line. I'm sure that you like to have those guys on your side, too.
I do, because, well, we have two lines, and the second one's just about as good as the first. And when you're in there against second team lines, just like being behind that first line,
Wilbur,
it's real good to have them.
Wilbur, Tennessee, 10th ranked, and I know you respect them as a team. I'm sure you were impressed with their defense, Tennessee's defense.
Pardon me, I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us now.
You probably weren't, actually.
Wilbur, can you hear us now?
Faintly, but not real well.
Not real well. Well, could you tell us one final question? Where is Ozark, Alabama?
Southeast Alabama.
How large?
About 90 miles south of Montgomery.
And what's the population?
About 20,000.
Well, that's a large city compared to my hometown, Wilbur, and again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And here are the final statistics, Bud.
And Alabama's superiority showing. Tennessee played a great football game for 3 quarters. They were behind 14-0. They bounced back, and it was 21-21 in the 4th quarter when Alabama broke loose. But statistically, you can see that the Crimson Tide was superior.
And now back to two men who possibly had a less hectic afternoon, but they've been busy. Merle Harmon and Dave Dials. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris and Bud, and let's all hear it for Ozark, Alabama. All right, let's go to the Southern Conference now. Davidson and William and Mary this afternoon, and the William and Mary Indians have scored at least 15 points in every ball game this year. They haven't done it today, though, and that puts them 7 points behind Davidson, 20-13 in the 3rd quarter. Eastern Carolina, the defending champ in the Southern Conference, is leading the Citadel by a score of 27-0 in the 4th quarter. East Carolina is running its record now to 6-1. Furman also having a fine year. It's homecoming down there today, and Furman is leading VMI 16-6 at the half. And that brings us down to Norfolk State and Virginia Union in the 2nd quarter. Virginia Union is leading in that one by a score of 12-0. Now, for more scores, let's go over to Dave Dials.
Earl, thank you. You know, one of the old rivalries in football is Auburn and Georgia Tech. They began this affair back in 1892, and today's meeting is the 76th meeting. Strangely enough, if Auburn should win today, the series will be tied at 36 victories each. There have been 4 ties. So let's check the scoreboard and see what's happening. Auburn 14, Georgia Tech 10. That game now in the 3rd period. Florida State, one of the more disappointing teams in the Southland. Seminoles, after their first victory, they're tied 10-all with Memphis State in the 3rd period. In the Southeastern Conference, this game just now about to get underway. It's a 4 o'clock starter. Florida will play without Nat Moore, a Heisman Trophy candidate who's out for the season with a broken leg. Georgia taking on a Vanderbilt team that has won 2 in a row, but not in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia leading Vanderbilt at the half by a score of 14-3. And in a game, of course, you just saw here on ABC television, most of the nation saw Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama number 2 in the nation, Tennessee number 9, and Tennessee's long winning streak after 11 in a row comes to an end. And strangely enough, Alabama was the last team to defeat Tennessee. It was tied at 21-all. Tennessee had made a gallant comeback after trailing early in the game 14-0, had tied the game 21-all. But this was the game breaker for the Crimson Tide of Bear Bryant. Neil Clay punting to Alabama's Robin Carey. He's in trouble momentarily, runs into a couple of his own men, starts to go to the outside, cuts back to the middle, taking the ball from his own 36 and goes 74 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. And after that, it was just a question of how much. Alabama went on to defeat Tennessee. The score in that was 42-21. Alabama now 6-0 on the season. In a game played last night, Houston defeated Miami of Florida 30-7. Bill Yeoman's Cougars now have won 10 in a row. You'll see highlights of that game tomorrow on College Football 1973 at 12 noon, 11 Central Time on most of these ABC stations. In the Mid-American Conference, Miami of Ohio off to its best start since 1969. Miami leading Bowling Green 24-8. They're now in the 4th period. Eastern Michigan playing Kent State. Eastern not a full-fledged member of the conference as yet as far as the standings are concerned. Kent State's Golden Flashes leading Eastern Michigan 27-0 in the 4th period. Dayton and Toledo playing this afternoon. I guess that last score is 27-20. The last score we had Dayton playing Toledo this afternoon, a pair of Ohio rivals. The Rockets' Gene Swick leading the nation in total offense with almost 278 yards a game. And right now he has his Toledo team in front of Dayton, 14-10 in the fourth period. Western Michigan playing Marshall this afternoon, and Western Michigan is in front 21-7 in the fourth period. Ball State playing Northern Illinois. Northern has Mark Keller, fourth in the nation in rushing. He's apparently doing well again today, 27-10 over Ball State in the second period. Wichita State playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, coached by Tony Mason, out in front 27-6 in the fourth period. And we'll be back, catch up on some other scores and highlights, but first let's take this time out.
Here's Fred, all set for a quiet day off. He's going to swat that fly. Don't do it, Fred. Uh-oh, another unexpected expense.
Well, I can handle it.
Now we'll hang that picture of Fred's dog. Easy with that hammer, old buddy. Uh-oh, another unexpected expense.
I can handle it.
You sure get your share of unexpected expenses, my friend.
But I manage. It's the big things, like college for my kids, my retirement, or guaranteed income for my family if I don't make it to retirement. Well, that's where I need help.
Help?
And I've got it with my piece of the rock, Prudential Life Insurance. Oh, I'm not alone either. Today, more people are picking Prudential to help them build financial security than any other life insurance company.
Careful.
I know. Another little unexpected expense. I'm glad I got Prudential for the big ones.
Protect your family and your future.
With a piece of the rock.
Prudential Insurance.
As you know, great teams are built on great defenses. Ohio State's Buckeyes, the nation's #1 ranked team, yielding only 13 points in their first 4 games. Ohio State out in front of Indiana. Again this afternoon, Cornelius Green getting the Buckeyes started by going 6 yards with the first drive of the game. And Ohio State is now leading Indiana. The score is 24-0 at the half. Wisconsin playing Michigan. Michigan's Wolverines are ranked #4 in the nation, and Michigan is in front 28-6. They're now in the fourth period. Illinois playing Michigan State. The Spartans having trouble scoring points. They've scored only 4 touchdowns in 5 games, and the Illini lead Michigan State 6-3 in the fourth period. Northwestern, having suffered all 3 of its losses outside the conference, trailing Purdue at the half by a score of 14-3. Minnesota and Iowa, well, their coaches, Cal Stahl of the Gophers and Frank Lauterbur of Iowa, said we're going to be better. Well, so far they haven't been better. Minnesota having lost 3 out of 5, Iowa having lost all 5, and Minnesota at the half is in front of Iowa in a high-scoring game, 22-17. Let's move now to the Big 8. Oklahoma State with a 3-1 record taking on 10th-ranked Missouri, and Missouri is in front at the half. The score is 10-3. Missouri coming off that upset victory over Nebraska. Kansas with a 4-1 record playing Nebraska, also 4-1. Nebraska won last year 56-0. Not that easy this year. It's 7-3 Nebraska at halftime. Iowa State Cyclones, the only team in the Big 8 without a winning record and trailing Kansas State at the half this afternoon by a score of 14-12. Colorado has come on strong since the Buffaloes lost that opening game to LSU. Colorado still has to play Nebraska and Missouri. Today the Buffaloes taking on Oklahoma, which has not been defeated but has been tied. And Oklahoma and Colorado today at the half, and it's #3 ranked Oklahoma 14, Colorado 7. You'll see highlights of that game tomorrow on most of these ABC stations on College Football 73. In the Southwest Conference, Texas and Arkansas. The winner of this game should win the Southwest Conference crown. Texas is leading Arkansas in the second period 6-0. Texas A&M today is going with a 17-year-old left-handed freshman quarterback. His name is David Walker. Right now he has 7 points on the board. So does TCU. It's 7-all in the second period. Texas A&M has had 33 turnovers in 5 games. In the Missouri Valley Conference, Drake playing North Texas State. North Texas State on the front end of a 16-7 score in the third period. Tulsa has one of the nation's fine backs in Joe McCulley. He's 3rd in the nation in total offense and in passing. Today, Tulsa having won 3 out of 5, taking on New Mexico State. And look at that route. Tulsa 52, New Mexico State 14 in the fourth period. In the Western Athletic Conference, Brigham Young playing Arizona State, and Arizona State doing most of it. 23-0 in the second period. Those are the scores now. It isn't often that we have the pleasure of having a man who's become a legend in his own time on our show. We just sit here and kind of do our thing week after week. But I'm thrilled and delighted to introduce Howard Cosell, who's going to tell us what's coming up on the Wide World of Sports today.
Thank you, David. Hello again, Merle.
Hello, Howard.
Anyway, I do want to tell you what's coming up today on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 5 o'clock Eastern and Pacific times, 4 o'clock Central time. You'll be seeing the strange and continuing saga of Muhammad Ali as we watch him via the satellite from Jakarta, Indonesia, in his bout against Rudy Lubers of the Netherlands. Lubers had lost only one fight going into today's event, and that was to Joe Bugner. And then, of course, you will also be seeing, as you watch the action there between Muhammad and Rudy as it was taking place, you will also be seeing today a race that ended in a very wild controversy. Looking at Ali there with his man pinned in the corner, it's surprising to see him let Rudy get away, but we'll be describing that fight for you later on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Muhammad came in at 217.5 today, and this is the other part of Wide World of Sports. The National 500 stock car race ended in a wild controversy, and the details on the termination of that controversy will be set before you today on ABC's Wide World of Sports. So keep looking for it, gentlemen.
You didn't say a thing about the scouting report on Southern Cal Notre Dame.
I'll leave it to these two men to give you all of the right scores on another day. Thank you both.
Howard, so good to see you.
Thank you, Howard. You suppose he made that appearance for scale?
I don't know, but we better find out in a hurry. We'll be back with more on our scores and highlights in a moment.
I work. My wife works. We're holding our own.
Tell them about the dentist, Harry.
Oh, yeah. Kid says no cavities, and I think no bill. And she mentions the braces.
Tell them about the school band.
I don't mind paying for an instrument. Why did it have to be a tuba?
Oh, tell them about that time.
Okay, I think they got the point. Right? It takes both our incomes to keep up with the everyday. But somehow we manage.
Barely.
We both know that there are big money problems waiting out there. College for the kids, cash for retirement, or income for the family if I don't make it to... For these things, we need help, like our piece of the rock, Prudential life insurance. We're not alone. Today, more people are picking Prudential to help them build financial security than any other life insurance company.
Tell them about food prices.
Food we can handle. Clothes we can handle. But financial security.
Most people need help.
They need Prudential.
Protect your family and your future.
With a piece of the rock.
Prudential Insurance.
Well, the 20-game winning streak of the Delaware Blue Hens came to an end today. Delaware was the #1 collegiate team in the nation, and Rutgers, with a very fine team this year, defeated Delaware this afternoon. The final score, Rutgers 24 and Delaware 7.
You know, one of the exciting games taking place in the East today is Cornell and Harvard from Ithaca, New York. They're still in progress there. And for an updated report on exactly what's taking place, let's switch to Ithaca, New York, and one of our colleagues, Keith Jackson.
Into the ball game, new quarterback for Harvard, Holt, number 12. And Harvard is running out the clock here at Ithaca, New York, leading Cornell by a score of 21-9. And we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Alabama-Tennessee game today. Here we had the pair of unbeatens in the Ivy League, Harvard and Cornell. Harvard jumped to a lead. They have led all the way, and a mistake by the punt returner, Scott Milhouse of Cornell. He fumbled the ball, and Harvard took it in 2 plays that put the ball game out of reach. And now Harvard, wearing the white, is just trying to run out the clock to remain undefeated, looking for their 4th straight season. So you fellows in New York, continue your post-game show with Harvard leading Cornell 21-9 and running out the clock.
Okay, Keith, thank you very much. We'll take a look at the top 10. Ohio State's Buckeyes, #1 in the nation, this afternoon taking on Indiana, leading now 31-0 in the 3rd period.
And the #2 team in the nation this week is Alabama. You saw that game. The Tide defeated 9th-ranked Tennessee 42-21.
#3 ranked Sooners of Oklahoma leading Colorado at the half 14-7.
And as we go on down our chart, 4th-ranked Michigan 35, Wisconsin 6, 4th quarter.
Southern California, kind of stumbling around on offense a bit this season. 5th ranked will take on Oregon later this afternoon.
And the #6 spot this week belongs to Penn State. The Nittany Lions are rolling over Syracuse 43-6 in the 3rd quarter.
LSU taking on Kentucky in a night game. LSU ranked #7.
And the 8th spot belongs to Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish lead Army by a score of 28-3. That game is in the third quarter.
And you saw what happened to the number 9 team, Tennessee, and the number 10 team, Missouri, leads Oklahoma State in a tough game at the half by a score of 10-3. You know, we talked a little bit about Ohio State earlier. The Buckeyes off winging in the first period today. Cornelius Green scored on a 6-yard run. And all the indications are that Ohio State and Michigan are going to meet again in November. And for the umpteenth consecutive year, the Big Ten title and the trip to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl is going to hang in the balance. I don't see any way of avoiding that.
I think I'll get tickets for that one early. What do you think?
You're late. I can tell you firsthand you're too late in getting tickets for that.
I believe we have an update coming on one of the ball game, and here's the final score, Bucknell and Lafayette 0-0. I believe that's 2 weeks in a row now, or two shutouts that Bucknell has been involved in.
Right, and Notre Dame playing Army in a battle that has a lot of prestige and a lot of history behind it. The Fighting Irish now rolling 41-3.
I'll tell you one thing. I'd rate Tennessee and Alabama twirlers 1, 2 in the nation. They are strong.
I've got to say something for your Purdue twirlers also, though, Chris.
Well, the Golden Girl and the Silver Twins are pretty strong. 27 seconds left in the first half. Holloway on a keeper as they trail by a touchdown and an extra point.
Tennessee's just going to run out the clock. They're not going to gamble putting the ball in the air down on their own 5 or 6 yard line.
You know, Alabama has produced some great All-America, or rather, Miss America contestants right there. Looks like Ann Fowler, a former Miss America contestant. You know, this has really got it. Well, we hope you enjoyed the first half. We did. You'll see them a little bit later on, I hope. Plus a special report from ABC News from the nation's capital. And a reminder that here at halftime, it is Alabama 21, Tennessee 14. As you're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
The $6 Million Man premieres as a new monthly series tonight.
In which to live. And there he is, the Tennessee mascot, the blue tick coonhound, one of the great breeds for those hunters that love to search at night. And now Tennessee search for a touchdown as they take the opening of the second half kickoff in the end zone for a touchback. Stanley Morgan wisely downing it, and you look at the Tennessee men up front: Love, Johnson, Cone, Urabeck, Satterfield, Schaefer, and Gravett. And in the backfield, it'll be a great athlete, Condredge Holloway at quarterback, number 7, 24, standback, 81, Fitzpatrick, 36, Bill Rudder. So from the 20, Bud and Duffy, first down.
I'm really concerned about the stamina of Holloway. He's the key to Tennessee being solidly in the game, and he's taken quite a beating in the first half.
Yarbrough is in the backfield, number 17 instead of Fitzpatrick. And the Alabama defense is quickly in on Haskell Standback, led by Mike DeBose.
The score 14-21, and the Alabama statistics dominating, but these are two sensational defensive football teams, really, and we've had almost 400 total yards gained. A very even game. Alabama 1 touchdown ahead and about that far ahead statistically.
Now we have Tommy West, number 23 in the lineup on a 2nd down and 9, just beyond the 20. 21-14, Alabama, Tennessee with the ball. That's what we mean about Holloway. Wayne Rhodes, the sophomore defensive back from Decatur, Georgia, making the tackle at the 19 or the
and
29.
That's what we mean too, Chris, about the price that he pays each time he carries the ball. They really do close on him. Let's watch Lowe, number 47 here. Great sophomore linebacker for Alabama, fighting through a block, and as Holloway turns up the field, Lowe drives at him, but Holloway slips low, and then he really does get belted, as you can see.
Terry Moore is in at fullback now on a 3rd and 1. It looks like it's enough for the Tennessee first down. Standback carried on the play, number 24. If you just joined us, Alabama took the opening kickoff, the first snap from scrimmage, an 80-yard touchdown pass, Rutledge to Wheeler. Then they came back and drove 65 yards for another score. Then it was Tennessee going 67 yards to score. And then Todd, the number 2 quarterback for Alabama, hit Shelby for another touchdown. And then 39 yards in 8 plays, Tennessee, so it's 21-14. From the 30, Holloway churns out across the 35, and Woodrow Lowe was there.
Let's watch this fine linebacker, Lowe. Here he comes. He's the off linebacker. He has to come all the way across the field now. He sees the scrambling by Holloway. Holloway's been the key man in every key play so far for Tennessee. Here comes Lowe back again and saves a long gainer.
Holloway has completed 8 of 11 for 118 yards. He wants to throw now. The man is wide open. Wide open. And Mitchell Kravitz, 64 yards, and now with an extra point, it will be a tie game.
Oh, they really fooled him on that one.
80-yard drive, 64-yard touchdown pass, Holloway to Kravitz from Nixon, Tennessee. Wow.
Got a receiver that wide open. Some quarterbacks have a tendency to hang the ball a little bit, but they don't want to miss the pass. Holloway just drilled it, and Kravitz didn't ever have to break stride.
That had to be a mistake on the defensive assignment there, Bud.
Townsend barefoots it. Tie game, 21 all. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter in one of the great battles of college football.
Wishbone teams like to make yardage, and that's Lindsey Nelson's daughter there in the mascot uniform. But Wishbone teams, the first down for them is always a very important play because they need to get ahead of the defense. Alabama, not counting that 80-yard pass play on first down, averaged 5.4 yards in the first half on first down snaps.
All right, 2nd down and 8 now from the 27. On Wide World of Sports today, Muhammad Ali and Rudy Lubers, 12-round heavyweight bout from Jakarta, Indonesia. Plus the National 500 stock car race from Charlotte. That's on Wide World, 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central. Don't forget next Saturday on most of these stations, Notre Dame, Southern Cal from South Bend. Oh, I'll tell you, Stanley Morgan was on the move, but the pass was a little long.
That is known as a long, incomplete forward pass.
I think he was open, too. Holloway just had a little too much on the ball.
The All-American City. And there are some All-Americans on the football field, believe me, as we have a tie score, 21 all, with 2:54 to go, third quarter. On the left, Coach of the Year twice in the houndstooth Bear Bryant hat, a man who's taken Alabama to 14 consecutive bowl games. On the right, a former player, Bill Battle, who coaches Tennessee. They now have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 20. Score tied, and there's a 6-yard pop.
That's an old-fashioned play. It was a sweep, just a handoff.
The statistics show Alabama leading all the way. They're not quite up to Tennessee in passing, but they are in total yardage. They're in offensive plays, and they've had the ball 7 minutes longer. And this is really a great game, as we've mentioned. Almost 600 yards total offense against 2 great defensive teams.
42 total points. Jackson again. Look at that desire. Eddie Brown again feeling the wrath of Wilbur Jackson, the senior from Ozark, Alabama. Another Crimson Tide first down.
Hey, Chris, guess what that play was? An inside belly.
And that note on your screen indicates the number of people that Alabama plays and the freshness in the fourth quarter that they have, together with the finesse, power. They're a team that comes down the stretch with great strength.
And on 3 plays, they've moved it from the 17 to the 48. On the ground. Oh, and did he have possession? It appears that he did, yes. An interception by Tennessee. Jim Watts of Jacksonville, Florida, number 26, intercepts. And Tennessee takes over. Alabama with 2 turnovers. Tennessee 1.
This is Wheeler coming down the field. It was the fake of the inside belly play that Duffy's been talking about. The ball was underthrown. Watts moves across and makes a fine interception. He was trying to pull loose, drop the ball, but he was obviously down before he did drop it. Tennessee went into the power I, which is supposed to give you extra blocking, but it was really some close. We're going to have a measurement.
I don't think he made it, Bud. It was a slow hitting play. They handed it to the tailback, and it developed too slowly.
John Kroll was very prominent defensively, number 83. Here's the measurement. It is 4th down. 4th down. Score tied. 12:19 to go in the game. It's 21 all.
I'm getting quite good in that hindsight department, Bud.
Well, it gives you a little bit of confidence. Claybo is really an outstanding punter, and when you've got to punt...
Robin Clary is in single safety for Alabama. Here's Claybo's kick. There's Carey at the 36. .64 yards. And throwing the block was John Crow. Touchdown, Alabama. Well, it's one of the most exciting Saturday afternoons or evenings I've ever spent, Bud. This is our 8th year of NCAA football. And as Duffy just mentioned a moment ago, it has everything, including a punt return, a 44-yard kick, a 64-yard six-pointer.
Beautiful blocking by the entire Alabama team as Davis' kick is up and good.
Now, Alabama has regained the lead 28-21 with 11 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the game. When Tennessee are meeting, where both teams are undefeated, 5 victories each. It was tied until a moment ago when a boy named Carey of Alabama took a Tennessee punt 64 yards for a touchdown. Alabama leads 28-21, 8:52 left in the game following a Tennessee punt. Alabama now, 1st and 10 at the 20. Rutledge is the quarterback. Wheeler, 82 to the near side. Jackson carrying. He may go 80 yards and score. There it is. 80 yards, Wilbur Jackson, touchdown.
He is some ball carrier. Big, fast.
That's his 2nd touchdown today, but that was a beauty. First snap again, 80 yards.
That was an old-fashioned sweep play, a handoff from the quarterback with a fullback and the right halfback leading him, Bud.
That is the longest run for a touchdown ever against Tennessee in a series that dates back to 1901. What a game, Duffy.
That freshness of the backs is telling off now. Paying off. It's telling.
Bill Davis ups the count. 35-21. 56 points scored, and we have 8 minutes and 34 seconds left in this Southern shootout. Busted it wide open.
But I think that Tennessee will win a lot of football games as the season progresses and unquestionably wind up in a bowl game.
Listen to this, Bud. Alabama snapped the ball 72 times. They churned out 23 first downs, scored 42 points, and made their legions happy here at Legion Field.
And their entire squad plays in the games. They're so deep everywhere, and everybody is fresh all of the time, and that puts great morale on a football team when everybody gets to play in the games.
I want to take it back. I said we have had everything in this game. We haven't had a field goal yet.
They had one attempt, unsuccessful. Danny Ridgway, the man that's been bringing in the plays, and I think it's very benevolent of Bear Bryant to let him have the ball, number 10, on the last play of the game, and a resounding, and Bear has enough players to carry him off the field. You can count on it. There it is, 42-21, and Bear Bryant has just coached his 226th victory in years at Maryland, Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Alabama, Bud.
Bear has had one of the great careers of anyone in coaching. He seems to adjust with the times. He changes his football. He changes the relationships, patterns with players, and no matter what the rules are, substitution-wise or anything else, Bears teams are always there, ready, and play superior football.
The native of Fordyce, Arkansas, the home also of Larry Lacewell, who's the great defensive coach at Oklahoma.
You know that Bear got that nickname, Bear, but I'm sure you know it, and Chris, you probably know it, because as a youngster out of Fordyce at 15, he wrestled a bear that was with a traveling carnival.
I believe it.
Did he win?
I think he must have won. They just paid him that $100,000 prize that he got. That's what he used to pay off the University of Alabama.
He might have had the winnings out of interest for all that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, for all the scores, highlights of the games, Merle Harmon and Dave Dials are back in New York City to bring you our network show, Prudential College Scoreboard, and that'll be followed by ABC's Wide World of Sports. It'll be Muhammad Ali going against Rudy Lubers. Right now, we'd like to tell you that the executive producer of NCAA football is Rune Arledge. Today's coverage of the Tennessee-Alabama game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, technical director John Allen. Coming up next, the Prudential College Scoreboard, and don't forget tomorrow, it's College Football 73 with highlights of other games today. ABC's Wide World of Sports follows later today. Ali Lubers fight via satellite from Indonesia, and the national and controversial 500 stock car race from Charlotte. 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central. Our thanks to our spotter, Bill Friel, and statistician Terry O'Neill, who had a busy afternoon. Chris Schenkel speaking for Bud Wilkinson, Dumpy Doherty, from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, chosen for travel by more sports teams than any other airline. NCAA football, Tennessee, Alabama has been brought to you by Weyerhaeuser, the tree growing company for lumber, plywood, paper, packaging, and thousands of other products from wood. By Texaco and the many thousands of independent Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. By Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA. And by United States Tobacco Company, House of Windsor, a better 15-cent cigar. The preceding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Oakland meets Denver on NFL Monday Night Football.